a special program. It's built for schools in the Yakima Valley area to come. All of these schools have received music a couple of months beforehand, and we rehearse just these 4 to 6 charts. We have both choirs and we have bands, and then during this day, all of these kids bust over here early this morning, and they have been rehearsing for approximately 7 hours today, I believe, so far. They have put in a lot of hard work. And we are ready for a performance for you tonight. So first up is going to be our choir. And our adjudicator this evening is going to be Dr. Gary Weidenauer. Dr. Weidenauer is the Director of Choral Studies at Central Washington University, and a personal teacher and mentor of mine. We're incredibly lucky to have him here today. And our accompanist this evening is going to be Colin Stave on the piano. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So he called me an adjudicator. He's probably nervous. I adjudicated. That usually means that you're judging and giving a rating. I did that in my head, but I really am their conductor tonight. So I'm their friend and helper, I think. So I'd like to welcome you to this event. It had gone dormant for a few years, and I want to thank Mr. Chevrolet and Mr. Nix and others for bringing it back to life again. And even though the students usually want to be partisan about which school and cheer for their own school, tonight I'd say let's all be cheering for music. And so I'm going to list all 6 schools that are part of the choir. And please hold your vocal sounds until the end. And let's make it all in one cheer for music rather than for our school. So here are the 6 schools that are part of up here. In front of you, Clayle and Roslyn, Sunnyside, Wapato, Prosser, Grandview, and Glenwood. Let's have a hand for them. Did I miss any? No, okay. So, we will be singing a program that takes about 13 or 14 minutes once we get going. But first, I call this kind of an informance instead of a performance. These students, how many of you have sung with this whole choir before today? In other words, has this whole choir been together before today? No. How many of you are in a choir that's 30 people or less? How many people of you are in a choir where there's 10 guys or less? Okay, so there's a solution to that. When you go back to your school, before next fall, you each go out and get a guy. If there's 20 in your choir, now you're going to have 20 more guys. If there's 30 in your choir, you'll have 30 more. How many of you are in a choir that's over 50 in your school? Okay, how many of you play also in band? You play a band instrument as well. Anybody? How many of you have taken piano lessons? How many of you have taken an instrument in the past but you don't play it now? Okay. So, how many of you are freshmen? Sophomores? Juniors? And seniors? All right. Okay. So we're going to do 2 things as a part of, to show you kind of what we did today. One is sound, silent, sound. What? You didn't tell me that. Right, because you have to think. Sound, silence, sound. Now some of you are probably going to want to... How many of you have music in your hands that you need to get rid of to do this? You do. Okay, set it down. Okay, here we go. What this is they were asked to think, and we'll see how they do now, because we have rehearsed for 7 hours, which is like 2 weeks of school kind of time, right? Okay, so sound, silent, sound. First one's just sound. 4. 4. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, go. Okay, now what I asked them to do this morning was to have the courage to sit down if they made a mistake. I'm not going to ask them tonight, because this is about courage, standing up for, if you make a mistake, you own up to it, okay? I also said if the person next to you makes a mistake, don't look at them, or you have to sit down too. So we did that for a while. Then we got to sound, silence, sound. 2, 2, 2. 1, 2, here we go. So that's easy, right? Okay, so let's do this. Sopranos, 2, 6, 2. Basses and tenors, 6, 2, 6. What is that out of 10? Is that right? 6 and 2 and 2 is 10. Okay. 4, 2, 4. Altos. That can't be right. Did I say 626? What did I say, 262? Okay. 66, that's 14. We got to get you 14. So 4, 4, 8. Here we go. Oh, well, whatever. Okay, so I don't have to count that high when I conduct. I have to count to 4. So 626, 262, right? Okay, sopranos, raise your hand if you know the number. All right, what is it? 262. All right, guys, what is it? 626, so that'd be 6 and 6 is 12, that's 14, and then you're going to go 4, 4, that's 8 to 6. 4, 4, 6, how's that? 4, 4, 6, here we go. You thought this concert would only be a half hour, it's going to be 3 hours while I figure out the math. Here we go. 1, 2, here we go. Yay. Okay. One more little demonstration and then we'll get to our music. We taught them how to do a 4 pattern. Because conductors do more than wave their arms, although my favorite cartoon is this. There's a conductor with a podium, no music on the stand, just a sign. It says, wave arms till music stops, then turn and bow. That's a conductor. We do more than that. Let's do our 4 pattern, shall we? Ready, go. Down, say it, across, away, go. All right, now what we're going to do is actually have Colin is going to follow me. We're going to start the beginning of the 3rd song, which is called Blessing, just 4 measures of it. So here we go. Ready? And... Okay, now Aaron, come up here. I've talked to you already. Where are you? On sunny side. Aaron is going to do the same thing. So Aaron, she doesn't want to right now because she's nervous, but that's okay. Thank you, Aaron. Yeah. Okay. And the other person who's going to do this is Marquez from... Okay, here's Marquez. Thank you, Marquez. Do they have programs? Oh, okay, so we're doing 4 songs. The first one is called Bonseaba. Brittany, come up forward, please. The first one is called Bonseaba. Once we start, we're going to just go through without stopping. It is in Swahili, and in Swahili it's Bonseaba Mupoketela Balipele Maka Akubabana Kubabana Bakwalesa Muyaya Bakwalesa. If you don't speak that language, she's going to help you.
All who sing with the Spirit have a right to be called the children of God.
Okay, so the first piece will be that, and it'll be with Mr. Nix, Mr. Mopu, and Mrs. Boyle on the percussion. And then the second piece is going to be a piece called I Got a Secret. And the very last line of the piece tells you what the secret is. The third piece, we're going to actually welcome Jacob up here beforehand to read you the text of the blessing, which is what you heard the first 4 bars of. And then the last piece for tonight will be called Hand in Hand, and I'll say a little bit of something before we do our last piece. Well, let me just say up front, How many of you have somebody in one of the band or the choir here? Thank you so much. How many of you were in band or choir yourself? How many of you weren't? How many of you are kind of surprised that your kids got talent because you're like, where'd that come from? Do they have grandparents at least that have that talent? Okay. Well, I told them, you know, how many of you sing in the shower? Be honest. How many of you have ever gotten soap in your mouth in the shower? You didn't sing a soap opera. Okay. See, your parents laughed at that joke. They know.
They had what? Oh, I don't know. I just raised my hand.
Dan, how about this? We'll be quiet for you too, okay? Thanks, Dan.
Band, if that was you, correct it, and if it wasn't you, don't take it wrong. But if it was you, you should be talking, you know that. Okay, here's the text, Jacob.
In the morning, when you rise, I bless the sun, I bless the skies. I bless your lips, I bless your eyes. My blessing goes with you. In the nighttime while you sleep. I bless you while I watch I keep. Okay. As you lie in slumber deep, my blessing goes with you. This is my prayer for you, there for you, ever true. Each, every day for you, in everything you do. And when you come to me and hold me close to you, I will bless you, and you bless me too. When your weary heart is tired, if the world should leave you uninspired, when nothing more of love's desire, my blessing goes with you. When the storms of life are strong, when you're wounded, when you don't belong, when you no longer hear my song, my blessing goes with you. This is my prayer for you, there for you, ever true. Each, every day for you, in everything you do. And when you come to me and hold me close to you, I bless you, and you bless me too. I bless you, and you bless me too.
Thank you, Jacob. check. Okay, so before we sing the last number, first of all, I'd like to thank the Sunnyside High School for hosting this, for all the students for your hard work today, and go back and tell your friends that this is a cool thing to do. Before I turn it over to the band after this, Mr. Newberry, thank you for being an advocate for music. It's getting cut from some places. It's nice to see it here in this part of our state. It's strong, and keep supporting it. I don't want to bore you with this, but there's just a mountain of research that says how the brain develops differently with music. That doesn't mean if you didn't take music that you haven't developed well, you know. You go to a principal and say, you know, music's so important, your brain isn't complete without it. He says, I was never in music. Okay. But there are other ways as well. Music is a very important part for a lot of people. My son, for example, listens to about 2 hours of music in his room, orchestral music. He's a music major in college, and for him that's really important, just like for some math is, and for some theaters and so forth. So let's try to keep this as an option for our young people. The last piece is by a man named Rollo Dilworth, and I was telling the students, I just got back from Salt Lake City this last week. Have any of you seen the Mormon Tabernacle Choir, at least on TV? Okay. This conference featured a final concert. It was 5,000 choral directors, 1,500 students in honor choirs, and 20,000 people in the audience, 21,000 people singing Amazing Grace together at the Tabernacle. That was just last week for me, so it was a really high point for me. I told these students this was equally exciting for me, because watching their faces light up with this music is what it's all about. So this sentiment is basically hand in hand we can be unified. I told them, what if the G7 or G8 had everyone trying to sing together? You know, Angela Merkel trying to sing, you know, Barack Obama or whomever. If people were singing more, they'd probably be fighting less, and that's a good thing. So thank you. The last number we'll do is Hand in Hand. Thank you guys for your work today, and then we'll turn it over to the band.
Sister, journey
Here, but. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Testing. All right. So, hey, we're just going to break down and switch groups. So just sit tight. This should take no more than 5-10 minutes. We need to get the instructors down and band set up, and then we'll be on our way. Now, just like the choir, these guys have been rehearsing all day long. The director, excuse me for that last one, is Mr. Russ Newberry, who has spent 32 years teaching music, 13 of which have, the last 13 have been spent at Pasco High School. So again, very lucky to have him. He's done some really great work with the kids, and yeah, enjoy the show.
things you should hear tonight in our performance because you're sharing our classroom with us. Here are some of the musical things we talked about today. We've talked about aggressive playing, being confident in who you are. We've talked about accenting music. We've talked about playing short and separated and class staccato. We've talked about playing light. We've talked about dynamic contrast. We've talked about terrace dynamic programs. We go through levels of loud in the song. We've talked about rhythm reading, note reading, playing the right notes. There are just so many things we've been trying to deal with today that this is a work in progress, and we're thrilled with the progress. I'm very thrilled with the progress we've made today. This next piece comes to us from India. In essence, the essence of it is this mixture of Indian culture where Indian culture has also dance and drama sort of in the same sense, it's the same concept. And so it's derived to generate concepts that we may recognize in the movement we see now called Bollywood. This is a concert band adaptation of the emotion of that. In a sense, it's very rhythmic, very dance-like, and if we can make up our own story, we have a great story to go along with this. There's some vocalizing that goes along with this, and it's just a really fun piece. So this is called Not Yet. important things about a music classroom is reliving past hundreds of years ago through music. Some of these pieces of music that you'll hear your kids doing concerts throughout the years, it allows them to go back and not just talk about history, they actually get to live inside of it. So this is one of those great pieces about Nimrod. One of the great pieces of classical music literature. We're really here for orchestra. Incredibly beautiful piece. We're going to really try to play our parts. guys remember, the more the word is love. If you don't have what you need, ask to get. So thank you so much. And choir, fantastic job.
we actually get just one more round of applause for our conductors this evening, Dr. Reinhardt and Mr. Reinhardt. Thank you both so much for coming out here. Fantastic day, as well as Mr. Aaron Nix was actually my partner in all of this, helping set this up. Mr. Nix is the choral director at Wapato High School. And just one more round of applause for both the band students and the choral students who did such a fantastic job today. Thank you all very much.